Hey everybody, welcome to Jacqui's Closet, episode number 12, where I get to unpack for you, very joyfully and very excitedly, one of my favorite originals that I've ever written to date, Safe Together. This is a song that I wrote for my husband. However, he was not my husband yet. We were dating online at the time. We had met on eHarmony. I lived in Florida. He lived in North Carolina. Within 3 months, he came out and visited me and my daughters, and then he had to go back home. And I immediately booked a flight to meet his family the following week or two later and surprised him. And a month later, I wrote this song for him because the agonizing feeling of being separated from somebody that I loved kind of inspired me to write this song for him and surprised him with it for Valentine's Day in 2021. Little did I know that a month later, he will have sold his house and moved out to Florida and rented an apartment, and we would be married within 3 months after that. And you know what, even if I didn't know it, I still would have felt very sick to my stomach knowing I was separated from my future husband. That's just what happens sometimes when you date long distance. So there is what is coming. Before I get into all of that, I'm JingleJacqui. So nice to meet you guys. If you haven't watched any of these yet, I am a musician. I've been a worship leader my whole entire life. I've written a lot of songs on my own that are very David-esque, but doing this at home and covering people's stuff acoustic with 30 million background vocals is actually something I love doing more than like anything else. So welcome to my channel. Please boop the subscribe button right now if you haven't done it yet, and you will see a lot of creative covers, just things you wouldn't even imagine, with 10 million harmonies, all acoustic. I get to do it all, and it's so much fun. I guarantee you will like what you hear if you are a fellow musician. Secondly, I made this shirt, you guys. It is an oversized tee. It says, "Thy mother." It is the old English way of saying your mom, but it doesn't sound rude. I am 35 and I say your mom all the time as a very mature adult response to basically anything anybody says to me. These will be for sale soon. For as low as $5 a month, you can join my Patreon team. I always give them shout outs every JingleJacqui live show. You can head to my website, JingleJacqui.com, to hear all of my work, see all of my music videos, and to visit my Patreon account or even just donate through PayPal. Let's go into my video, Safe Together. Now, the reason why I worded it this way, there's so much I could say on this. It's not just physical safety, guys, although that is very extremely important in a relationship. If you are not in a physically safe relationship, get out. And people who know people who are not in physically safe relationships, you might get frustrated thinking, why aren't they getting out? I have been in this situation before. It's not easy. What happens is you try to get away from somebody like that and they make your life a living hell. So for those people who are watching loved ones in physically unsafe relationships, the worst thing you could ever do is give them ultimatums, put pressure on them to choose you or the person that's treating them unsafely. I could go on this forever. The thing somebody needs most who is an abuse survivor is they need to know that they have somewhere to go when they finally break things off with their abuser. So be that person, be it for them. Having been somebody who's been through this before, you don't even notice. You don't until it's way too late. And then it's almost difficult because you've been isolated from friends and family by your abuser. They do it on purpose. That way they are your source and your supply, the damage. And then you feel bad because you hurt your friends and your family, so you feel unworthy to come back. Okay, so that's a whole thing as to not necessarily why I've called this song Safe Together. We can find ourselves emotionally unsafe with our partners. And I had been through that time and time and time and time again up until I met Jeremiah, to the point that I thought I would sabotage our relationship because he was a safe person. I was used to unsafe people, but I had learned from a very young age that abuse is okay. People having authority over me is okay, who have no right to have authority over me. Statistically speaking, most abuse survivors have been through this as children too, and that's how you find yourself in these situations. It feels familiar, and there's comfort and familiarity, and it's just kind of brainless, so it just happens. It repeats until you go for help. Keep in mind, all my life, For the most part, I have loved Jesus with all my heart. I just didn't know. I had no idea. So people, know your stuff. Go to therapy. So when I met Jeremiah on eHarmony, he had been through some things similarly to me, and he had also been in counseling and therapy. So that was my first sign that he had already put an effort to work on himself after his trauma. So not only was he trudging through these hardships and honoring God, but he was still serving God after everything he'd been through, just like me. So I felt off the cusp, or off the cuff, whatever, that he would be a safe person I could trust. As time went on, I was up and down when we were getting to know each other. At one point, we had decided we would be a thing. And I recanted the next day and was like, no, I can't do it. I can't like have a label. I can't have a title. He wanted to go at my pace. He put no pressure on me to have a title, to have a label in our relationship, to be dedicated solely to him, although secret, I was. I just didn't want the title because I was freaking out because all of my experiences up to that point, that title came with agony and heartbreak and hurt and pain. So I just didn't want that with him. His consistency in just being there for me, he would hear me out. He wouldn't try to change who I was. He wouldn't try to lord his wisdom over me because he respected the wisdom I had. So I learned over time, for the first time with a man, what it is to be emotionally safe. So if some people are in the middle of a dating life or praying about a certain somebody to be your husband, here are some of the things that I kept in mind while Jeremiah and I were getting to know each other. One of the first things was, if I marry him and he stays the way he is right now as I'm getting to know him and never changes, will I be happy with that? I was able to say yes. If he stays exactly as he is, I don't have a list of all the things I wish he would drop in order to be my husband. If you don't love them as they are and want them as they are until your very last breath, do not marry the person. Don't do it. And vice versa. If the person you're with is looking at you as a project with a list of things that needs to be fixed, perhaps it's true, but that person probably shouldn't be with you either if they're expecting this laundry list to change. Second thing, do they reciprocate the love that you have for them? In my song, I wrote in there, and it's kind of odd, but I was very intentional about the way I worded the song. Somebody like you who loves like I do. And that was important to me because in all of my relationships, I loved so big. I was like, I love him so much, so this is surely it. I've never loved somebody like this before. I'm supposed to marry him. But little did I realize I had to have that reciprocated back to me in order for my heart to be safe. It's actually extremely important that you are met with the same love, the same passion, even if it looks different, but the same fervor behind it. You know what I'm saying? Also, I started the song with, let me sing this out for you, since I say it all the time. And I would tell Jeremiah all the time, you're perfect. And I knew he wasn't perfect. I mean, blah, blah, blah. We already know this stuff. What I was trying to imply is that he was perfect for me. He was the one I prayed and fasted for the majority of my life. And he was perfect for me. He just is. I could go down a list of reasons why. So I wanted to sing it out for him since I always say it. But, now I'm going to sing it. My love, you're perfect, and I'm lucky you're mine. The reason why I did this song this week is because it was Jeremiah's birthday last week. He turned a grand, young 19. Just kidding. He's 34. He looks like this because I have a pair of earrings with his face. That's my husband. I can wear them. But it was his birthday, and I got sick, and I couldn't even do the song for him last week. So this was his birthday commemoration or something like that. And for our anniversary, I will do our wedding song. So guys, remember, check out my website, JingleJacqui.com. Please consider becoming a patron and supporting my Thursday night live shows. I give a shout out to all my patrons every single time I go live. Also, remember, tune in every single Thursday for JingleJacqui Live. Visit me and my husband's website, thealsbrookfamily.com, and you could see our blog together. And go ahead and boot that subscribe button here on YouTube. Watch all my videos. The more watch time I get, the more subscribers I get, the more chances I have to monetize this and support my family by doing this at home. Guys, it's an honor. I love you so much. I can't wait for next week's song. It is going to be Goodness of God. That's been a high requested one. So Finally, it is time for that. Alright guys, I love you so much. Have a great week. I'm gonna hand this right back over to myself as per usual. So JingleJacqui, go on, take the reins, take us away, and guys, thanks for watching.